I really didn't want to share this park because it's one of our favorites and don't want to have it be inundated, but since we have such a small channel, we can share this. If you come here in the winter, this is what it will look like some mornings, just absolutely gorgeous. But we're here in the summer, and if you come in the summer and you're tent camping or RV camping, make sure you get a site with some shade. This park's not near the beach. It's not near a city. Doesn't have a spring or a swimming area. But it's still one of my favorites. If you want to see a park that represents what Florida is, I don't know if there's a better park. This park has alligators, has turtles, it has all the animals that Florida has. What it doesn't have is a lot of tourists doing touristy things. If you'd like to see alligators, you'll definitely see them here. And they're not just on the signs. There's been heavy rains before, and we've seen alligators just basking in this little overflow area. And I get why some people are afraid of gators, because they are dangerous. But the chance of a gator hurting you is very slim. Much greater chance of you getting struck by lightning. They have this cool structure by the lake that you can rent out. And we were very fortunate because there's a hurricane that's in the Atlantic right now, and it's pulling colder weather down. It's actually, the lows are in the 70s, which is very unusual for August. I'm surprised today because I went out to the dock, and typically there's a large number of alligators just hanging out around the dock. But there could also be, because there's nobody here fishing, maybe the gators are just kind of hanging out somewhere else. One of the great features of Colt Creek is you can bring your kayak here, spend the day on this beautiful lake. Colt Creek was donated by a family, I believe it was 10-15 years ago. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, they added the campground. It's just an absolutely beautiful day out here. Next to the lake, there's the Mac Lake Nature Trail. It's a very short trail. This is a trail that's great for little kids. There's also a pavilion if you want to have a picnic. Now, a big thing in the news is that the state of Florida is now allowing some hunting of black bears. And there's a second pavilion. I'm not sure if you have to rent these or if you just show up and use it. Usually the way it works at these state parks or at the city parks and things in Florida is if you can reserve it, there's usually a sign. So this is probably just first come, first served for these pavilions. And this is the exit of the Mac Lake Nature Trail. So it is a nice, easy, cool trail. Bring your kids on it. What I'll do is I'll take this walk goes around to basically the entrance station. It's about a mile and a half. Here's a little hidden picnic area. Now, the animals I would expect to see out here, you can see gators. As you can see, the gators are hiding right now. Maybe they would be out more in the morning or afternoon. This is kind of midday right now. You'll see sandhill cranes, turtles, deer. Deer are very common. Florida has a wild boar problem, but you typically don't see it unless you're hunting them down. And I wouldn't be shocked to see squirrels or raccoons. I've been in Florida a long time. Been to many state parks, been to many local parks. Never seen a black bear. So I'm not sure of the population of black bears, but I know based on seeing the clear cutting and the house building that the population of people is booming. Okay, I'm the little hiking trail that's going from the lake area over to the main gate. I see the gate, but I don't see signs facing this direction. Go on the other side and see. Okay, that trail that went through the woods when I was walking here from the start of the video, that was near the campground. I think that heads over to this area. This is a parking area. When you come in the main gate, if you immediately go to the right, it takes you, I believe, over to this area. So we'll just follow this trail around. Okay, we've been to Colt Creek many times, but never actually came over to this area. So this is a separate little lake. I can see this being great for fishing, if there's lake access here. Yes, there's even a little area you could probably put a kayak in, and a little seating area you can fish from. So like I said, this is August 2025. Typically this hike would be unbearable. It'd be in the 92, 93, 94 range. But because of that storm that's out in the Atlantic, it's probably in the 80s right now. And it actually feels kind of cold to me, which is weird to say that mid-80s is cold. And you'll also see a lot of crows out here. And I've been told that there's Florida crows and regular crows. So this is one of the areas you could bring your horse and ride your horse through this area. But if you're interested in camping overnight with your horses, there's actually I believe it's Swiftmud, Southwest Florida Water Management District, has a campground that's in the Colt Creek State Park. I believe you go to watermatters.org and you can book a free site there. It's boondocking, but they do have, I think they got portable bathrooms there with water. So my recommendation, if you're camping in Florida, the ideal time of year is to come in the winter, of course, but if you're camping in Florida in the summer, the main thing you need to do is make sure that you're completely stay out of the sun. Keep shade on your whatever your tent or vehicle or whatever you're camping in. Say shade for the majority of the day. You do want a little portion of the day, ideally in the morning, to have some sun. And the reason is, if you don't have a little bit of sun in Florida, your stuff could stay wet. So you really want, a couple of hours of sun, but majority of shade. See, this is Florida to me. Different colors of green, blue, and white. Florida is also really the only place I've ever lived where it got hotter after it rained. Even when I lived in Hawaii and Okinawa, it really didn't do that. Okay, we're coming up on the entrance station. So that wasn't too far a walk. The road that Colt Creek is on was just newly paved in the last year. So it's a good ride here, whether you come from the north or the south. They have an entry gate that they close at about 10 o'clock. So they'll give you a gate code if you need to come in after dark. And I don't remember if it was 10 o'clock or if it was just at dark. So make sure you got your gate code. So the one downside some people have about Colt Creek State Park is that the cell coverage is not really that great here. But as we were staying here, we watched them put up a cell tower about 2 miles from here. So hopefully that's fixed in the next week or two. When you come in, you'll stop at that sign. If you're camping here, you pull over to the right and go inside the building. And if you're camping here, every time you come in, make sure to stop and they'll wave you in. And when you come in, if you're just coming in for the day and don't mind going down the dirt road, you can turn to the right. If you want to go on the paved road, there's lake access. Basically, the entire park has access from this paved road. I'm hoping to see some of these turtles or gophers, gopher turtles or tortoises. The other day we saw 3 or 4 of them on this road, so we might get lucky, might not. Okay, this area of the park, last year we were here and they did a controlled burn. So it was all just black, but it's all growing back now. We saw the gopher tortoises over here the other day. My wife's got a video of it, so I'll just steal her video and put it in here. But I don't see them today. And this is part of the area they did the control burn, so all the ground clearance is grown back. And if you said, what's the #1 plant in Florida? I think these are called palmettos or saw palmettos, but these are all over. When you come in on the road, you'll see that there's a trail on the left too. And on this trail, there's you can take your horses. You can also go in here and there's like a camping area for people that will bring in a tent. Now these trails are beautiful, but if it rains, it could potentially get a little bit muddy. On the other side of the street is that trail. If we would have, when we passed the lake, if we had turned right, this is where it would have come out. Where we're heading right now is back towards the lake and the dock area, and then we'll get up to the campground. And it's not a shocker seeing turkey vultures out here. Probably could be the state bird of Florida. We're back to the lake area. We'll go back to the campground. My phone is almost dead, so I'm gonna go charge it. I think there's a whole flock of turkeys right here. And if you're staying at the campground, when you're coming down the road, you turn right past the 2 dump stations. You'll pass the dumpster and the water tank. Colt Creek's a rather large property, but currently they only have, I think it's 33 sites in the single loop. About 2 weeks ago, they did a control burn on some sites. So some sites do have the control burn behind it. Right at the beginning, they have the overflow parking. This area, if there's like a hard rain, it tends to flood in this area, so just be careful with it. Beside the camp host site, there's 2 other sites that are full hookup. They're the ADA sites, so if you have a disability, you can come here and have full hookups. So if you come here in the winter, then all the sites are great, like I said, but if you come here in the summer, then there's some sites like Site 7 that you want to avoid, because it never gets any shade. And here's Site 6, which is one of the ADA sites with the full hookup. Bathhouse is newer. It's in pretty good shape, but the bathrooms are often not necessarily the cleanest, but they're acceptable. The backside of the bathhouse and the women's side, backside of it, there's a wash basin so you can wash your dishes. And you can see this is Site 7. It's about 5 o'clock, 5:30 or so at night. Compare that with Site 9. The difference in temperature between these 2 sites could be 15 degrees inside your RV, just based on having the shade. So choose your site carefully. Look on Google Maps. I think Site 12 is like that too. It's gonna get a lot of sun in the midday to nighttime. So Site 12 will be awesome in the winter, but I would avoid it in the summer. You don't have to have an RV. You can tent camp in here, and there's actually a tent camping section I'll go through right now. The camping section has its own parking. It used to just have tent campsites, but now they put up a couple of the yurts that you can rent. But you'll see, this is Site 13. It's pretty good for a tent camping area. Here's Site 14. I guess the yurts have been successful because there used to only be 2, and now there's 4 of them. But what it looks like is they've got the yurt, they got a seating area, fire pit, table, electrical hookup. So there might even be an air conditioner inside the tent, I'm not sure. I mean, if you like the idea of staying in a yurt, then these are definitely a good option because it's already set up for you. I think there's a separate website for you to reserve the yurts. I don't think you reserve it on the Florida State Parks website. And I know there used to be yurts in Hillsborough River also. So there might be multiple state parks now that have the yurts. This is Site 19. It's one of my favorite sites. Although in the summer, I don't think it gets much shade. But we're up to 20, 21, 22. Also, a couple years ago, they added the trash cans around the campground, so you don't have to go to that main dumpster. Now, if you have one of those big monster RVs, you can easily pull it into Site 23 here. I think this site is a little bit less level than the other sites, but it is just like incredibly massive. This is Site 25 over here. That's our first site that we ever had here. And we're staying over in Site 24. 24 is a large site, which gets afternoon shade, so keeps it cool. And as you come around the corner, you start to get to the higher numbers like 27, 28, which are very good. And then you get to the end of the loop, which pretty much all these sites are pretty good. So just after 5 o'clock, our site is fully shaded. It's probably been fully shaded since about 3 p.m. Feel free to ask me any questions you want about Colt Creek or any of the videos. And I don't know if YouTube has like a direct message thing, but if you want to do that, that's fine. You can also just leave a comment. But I think I walked around in the summer in the middle of the day, so the animals were all probably hidden away. So I'll end the video with some animal videos and stuff from prior years.